Hi everybody, thanks for joining me tonight to talk about terpenes. I'm pretty excited to be able to talk about the science behind essential oils because as a self-proclaimed not sciencey person, I'm glad that this is one part of it that I feel like is easy to understand and it's helpful when thinking about which oils you want to choose to use and why. So I'm just going to give like a little bit of brief background about what a terpene is and then go into more detail about 4 specific ones that I thought kind of give a good mix of the different benefits for different kinds of terpenes. And yeah, any like questions or comments or anything, let me know. As always, whenever I'm doing these live videos now, I'm still not 100% sure that I'm going to see all of the comments until after the fact, but even if I see them later, I'm happy to talk afterwards also. So basically, terpenes are the basic hydrocarbons that make up all plant resins and essential oils and plant material in nature. They're the largest group of phytochemicals. So you might have heard the term terpenes, like where I was seeing it come up was whenever I was doing research on medicinal cannabis, but it's not just specific to the cannabis plant, it's all plants. And so that's why they're present in all of these essential oils and other elements that we find in nature, which is really cool how they have these different benefits that influence not only like the aroma and flavor of different plants, but then also how they affect our bodies and have different medicinal value in terms of different issues that you might be experiencing. So the benefits really range all over the spectrum from like anti-inflammatory, antidepressant, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-hyperglycemic, analgesic effects, anxiolytic, like really any issue you name it, there's a terpene that kind of goes with that. So it's pretty cool in that sense. And a lot of these, essential oils will have more than one terpene in them, and so then the way that they interact with each other too can also have an extremely beneficial effect, and there's a lot of overlap also in different terpenes having the same types of effects also. So there's really a lot of different ways to like mix and match, which is cool too. So one of the first ones that is pretty common and I think pretty cool is limonene. And limonene sounds a lot like lemon, so it's present in all of the citrus oils, so lemon, lime, wild orange, any of those, citrus bliss, a lot of the different doTERRA oils. And it has antidepressant effects, immunostimulating effects, and a lot of cleansing properties too. So that can both be like cleansing within the body, and then also you can use it like for external like household cleaners and stuff like that. So if you're somebody who likes to do like do-it-yourself projects, like mixing together some citrus oils with water and vinegar to make like a spray cleaner that you can use around the house, you can also take these oils internally, and again it'll give you like a boost to the immune system, but then like diffusing it too is one of those ways that we always talk about, the mood elevation effects of lemon and lime and citrus bliss and wild orange, and just being able to use them aromatically in that sense too. And so part of why it has these effects is that limonene can affect the metabolic turnover of dopamine and serotonin in the brain. And so that is part of how all of these citrus oils that contain limonene end up having these positive antidepressant effects on the body. But aside from the citrus oils, there are also like the peppers, so pink pepper and black pepper. Fennel oil has limonene. And I had listed bergamot separately in my notes at first because I thought that bergamot wasn't a citrus oil, but it turns out it is. I just always associated it with being an Earl Grey tea, and I guess I've never considered that citrus, and that's why I didn't realize that until now. So that was something else I learned in addition to these terpenes. So that's kind of a basic understanding of limonene. Another one that sounds kind of similar but is a totally different terpene is linalool, which is probably one of my favorite terpenes too, because it has strong anti-anxiety and sedative effects, which is part of why I love lavender so much, and have made that part of my nighttime routine and getting ready to go to bed at night and that kind of thing. The high content of linalool and its anti-anxiety effects make it a great choice for your diffuser whenever you're trying to fight insomnia, putting it on your skin too, using it topically, that kind of thing. But it's not just lavender. There's also linalool in magnolia and in coriander and in clary sage and in petite grain. So those are some other ones that you can mix it up with too. Yeah, Nova, we love linalool. and so you can take some of those like internally too in a veggie cap, or mixing it into a drink and that kind of thing. And the thing that I thought was cool too whenever I was reading about this one also is that linalool affects the muscles by activating the biochemical pathways in the lining of the blood vessels, which relax the underlying muscle. And so that is part of like then exactly how it's able to have sort of that sedating effect on the body, which then can also help with like these issues of insomnia or anxiety or whatever it might be. So that's what I thought was cool whenever I was researching linalool as a terpene. So that's limonene and linalool so far. Another one that is present in a lot of oils and has a lot of benefits is alpha-pinene. So pinene sounds like pine, so like trees. So I was thinking of like the Douglas fir and Siberian fir oils have a lot of alpha-pinene in them, but those are the same plant family but a different genus from pine. And oh, I just saw the comment about serenity too. Yep. And so those are two that definitely have pinene. And so then I was kind of keeping on this tree trend too. So cypress and frankincense are also oils with alpha-pinene. And some of the benefits from this one has a ton of benefits, but the ones that I decided I would talk about just to do something kind of different were the skincare benefits, and then help with breathing and like respiratory issues. And so the skincare, it can help with like any imperfections, or like cypress in particular is supposed to be good for oily skin, I was reading. And so like for those oils, you can just mix them into like your moisturizer or lotion or whatever your skincare routine is and get some benefits from it that way. But then also for the breathing, so that's mostly like using it in the diffuser aromatically, breathing it in, and so it has like bronchodilating effects and can help like expand your lung capacity and that kind of thing. So I was actually reading something too that recommended using it like pre-workout, which I thought was interesting too, because I think sometimes with respiratory issues I tend to think of more just like if you're sick or have allergies or like asthma or other types of issues like that too. But it was also talking about like in workouts, and I know that people have certain like pre-workout different, I guess routines or things that they will mix into making part of their plan for exercising. And so that might be worth a try too, to have those oils that are high in alpha-pinene to see if they make a difference. And then the last terpene I wanted to talk about was beta-caryophyllene, which I know we talk about in this group a lot too, whenever we're talking about copaiba oil. It's also abbreviated as BCP a lot, and so this is kind of also where it links back to the overlap, but then also differences between like cannabis and CBD oil and copaiba and all of that kind of stuff. Also, copaiba versus copaiba, I'm still not 100% set on which way is the right pronunciation, so I'm just going to keep interchanging all of them, I think. But that's another one that has antidepressant, anxiolytic effects, and anti-inflammatory effects, among other things. And it works by acting on the CB2 receptors in the body, which have been linked to like issues that have to do with like anxiety, inflammation, and that kind of thing. So by being able to activate those receptors directly, binding to them, beta-caryophyllene is then able to address these issues really well. And so copaiba is a great oil that has a lot of this terpene, but there are also a bunch of other ones. So melissa, ylang-ylang, clove, cinnamon, basil, oregano, a whole bunch of them. So then there are some other options in there too for like cooking with these oils, or diffusing them, or using them in all of these different ways. If you're using some of those topically, like definitely dilute them, or like just use very little amounts and then heavily dilute them, just to make sure too, because some of those can be pretty strong. But that's definitely another really beneficial terpene. And again, like in combination, the more oils you use that have one or more of these terpenes together, that can also strengthen it. And something else that I know we've talked about in this group is like using small amounts consistently and like waiting over time to kind of see the benefits take hold, and like not necessarily expecting things to be immediate was something else that was kind of coming up in the research, that a lot of these are recommended like in small doses, because then the cumulative effect as time goes on is where you'll actually see like all of the like really strong benefits in the end. So that's just a little bit of information about limonene, linalool, alpha-pinene, beta-caryophyllene. There are a whole bunch of other terpenes too, but that was just a few to get started. And yeah, hopefully you understand a little bit more about sort of the chemistry behind essential oils and the science of it all. Any other questions or comments, let me know and we can talk about it more. But yeah, thanks for watching.